Tailwind CSS powers over 617,000 websites. GitHub uses it. Shopify uses it. Even Claude's own interface uses it. And last month they laid off 75% of their engineering team. Not because the framework is failing. Downloads are at an all-time high of 75 million per month. But revenue? Down nearly 80%. The reason? AI coding tools are so good at using their documentation that nobody actually visits their website anymore. This is the dark side of the AI coding revolution that nobody's talking about, and it's threatening to collapse the entire open source ecosystem that makes AI coding possible in the first place. But that's not the only AI story reshaping technology right now. A 24-year-old Stanford dropout just announced her AI has solved mathematical problems that stumped human mathematicians for over 40 years. Today I'm covering both of these developments. And trust me, they're more connected than you might think. Let's start with a research paper that dropped in January 2026 that's sending shockwaves through the developer community. It's titled simply, "Vibe Coding Kills Open Source." The paper comes from a team of economists including Klaus Koren from Central European University, Gabor Bekes, Julian Hinz from Bielefeld University, and Aaron Lohman from the Kiel Institute for the World Economy. And what they found is deeply concerning. First, some context. Vibe coding is this new paradigm, where developers use AI tools like Cursor, GitHub Copilot, or Claude to write code by describing what they want in natural language. The AI does the heavy lifting, finding the right libraries, assembling the components, writing the boilerplate. It's revolutionized productivity. But here's the problem the researchers identified. When AI writes your code, you never actually engage with the open source projects you're using. You don't read their documentation. You don't file bug reports. You don't contribute back. The researchers built a general equilibrium model of the open source ecosystem and found that vibe coding is eroding the very funding mechanism that keeps these projects alive. The core problem is what they call a decoupling of usage from engagement. The Tailwind CSS story is the poster child for this crisis. On January 6, 2026, Tailwind Labs laid off 3 of its 4 engineers. Adam Wythen, the creator, explained it bluntly. Tailwind is growing faster than it ever has and is bigger than it ever has been, and our revenue is down close to 80%. Documentation traffic has dropped 40% since early 2023. Why? Because when developers ask AI how to use Tailwind, the AI just tells them directly. They never visit the website where Tailwind actually makes money selling premium products. And this isn't just Tailwind. Research shows that access to ChatGPT reduced Stack Overflow activity by about 25% within 6 months. The entire infrastructure of how open source sustains itself, through documentation, community engagement, and the visibility that leads to sponsorships, is being hollowed out. Here's why this should terrify everyone who uses technology. And I mean everyone, not just developers. Researcher Klaus Koren put it perfectly: popular libraries will keep finding sponsors. Smaller niche projects are more likely to suffer. But many currently successful projects like Linux, Git, Tex, or grep started out with one person trying to scratch their own itch. If the maintainers of small projects give up, who will produce the next Linux? Think about that. Linux runs most of the internet's servers. Git powers virtually all software development. These were once tiny projects maintained by individuals. The next foundational technology is probably being built right now by some solo developer, and they might abandon it because AI-generated issues and low-quality pull requests are overwhelming their inbox, while their documentation revenue evaporates. Koren didn't mince words. Vibe coding is not sustainable without open source. You cannot just freeze the current state of OSS and live off of that. Projects need to be maintained, bugs fixed, security vulnerabilities patched. If OSS collapses, vibe coding will go down with it. This is a sustainability crisis hiding in plain sight. The very AI tools making developers more productive are parasitically consuming the ecosystem they depend on. The researchers propose a Spotify for open source model, where AI platforms would track which open source packages are being invoked and redistribute subscription revenue to maintainers proportionally. Other solutions include foundation support, corporate sponsorship, and treating open source as public digital infrastructure deserving of public funding. The paper is clear. The solution isn't to slow AI adoption. The benefits are too large. But the business models and institutions that channel value back to maintainers need to be completely redesigned. Watch for whether major AI coding tool providers start implementing revenue sharing. That's the indicator that will tell us if this ecosystem can survive. So AI is potentially breaking the systems that create the software it uses. But what about when AI starts creating things that humans couldn't create at all? What happens when AI moves beyond being a productivity tool and becomes something that can do genuinely new intellectual work? That's exactly what a small startup in San Francisco just demonstrated, and the implications are staggering. Meet Axiom, an AI startup that just announced it has solved 4 previously unsolved mathematical problems. And this isn't hype. These are verifiable solutions to problems that have stumped mathematicians for decades. The company was founded by Karina Hong, a 24-year-old Stanford PhD dropout who's already attracted an elite team including Ken Ono, one of the world's leading mathematicians from the University of Virginia, and François Chardin, a pioneering AI researcher who came from Meta after applying transformers to mathematical problems starting back in 2019. Axiom emerged from stealth in 2024 with $64 million in seed funding at a $300 million valuation, led by B Capital. The company's name comes from the mathematical term for a fundamental truth that can be the starting point of an entire theory, and that name is proving prophetic. Here's what their AI called Axiom Prover accomplished. It independently solved Erdo's problems number 481 and number 124. Paul Erdos was one of history's most prolific mathematicians. He formulated around 1,100 problems over his career, and only about 266 have ever been solved. Problem 481 has been unsolved since 1980. Problem 124 has been pending for roughly 30 years. Axiom Prover cracked both in hours without human intervention. But it didn't stop there. The system also solved a 130-year-old problem about Lyapunov functions, a problem that stumped Poincaré, Newton, and Lagrange. It disproved a 30-year-old conjecture. And most recently, it solved 9 out of 12 problems in this year's Putnam competition, a college-level math challenge that some consider harder than the International Math Olympiad. What makes this different from other AI achievements is the verification. Axiom Prover produces solutions in Lean, a formal proof language that is 100% verifiable. These aren't approximations or probabilistic answers. They're rigorous mathematical proofs that can be checked and confirmed. This is fundamentally different from everything AI has done before. Writing code, that's pattern matching against billions of examples. Summarizing text, statistical prediction, even passing medical or legal exams, that's retrieving and synthesizing existing human knowledge. But solving problems that no human has ever solved, that's something else entirely. There's no training data for correct answers that don't exist yet. The AI had to reason its way to genuinely novel solutions. The achievement drew praise from some of the biggest names in the field. Jeff Dean, chief scientist at Google DeepMind, lauded the Putnam results on X. Thomas Wolfe, co-founder of Hugging Face, highlighted the significance. Now critics rightfully caution that automated proofs don't replace the creative intuition of human mathematicians. The why behind a solution, the insight that leads to new fields of inquiry, is still distinctly human. But as a collaboration tool, as a way to test conjectures, verify proofs and explore mathematical space at superhuman speed, this changes everything. Mathematics isn't just abstract theory, it underlies cryptography, physics, engineering, and AI itself. When AI can advance mathematics, it can advance everything mathematics touches. Karina Hong has stated Axiom's mission is to build an AI mathematician capable of not just solving problems but generating new ones and validating its own conclusions. The company is positioning itself as the underdogs. As Hong noted, they were 4 months old 2 years late to the game, with 1/5 the funding of competitors when they achieved these breakthroughs. Watch for whether these results can be replicated across other mathematical domains. And pay attention to collaborations with universities and research institutions. If Axiom can accelerate mathematical research broadly, the implications for science and technology could be profound. AI is simultaneously threatening the foundations that software is built on while pushing the boundaries of what's intellectually possible. The question isn't whether AI will transform how humans create. It's whether the systems and institutions can adapt fast enough to make that transformation sustainable. Are the brilliant achievements worth it if the ecosystem that enables them collapses? That's the question every developer, every company, and every user of AI tools needs to start asking. If you want to keep up with how this unfolds, subscribe. I cover AI and tech news daily. See you in the next one.